Welcome to Paranormal Gateway Paratalk. My name is Scott Wise, and our host Mel is unable to join us tonight. Tonight's special guests are Vinnie and Rodger from Arizona Paranormal Investigation and Research Society. Arizona Paranormal Investigation and Research Society have been doing paranormal investigating for over 40 years, engaging in forensic techniques, historical records, and the most innovative technology available. A team is a balance of both skeptics and believers. While their approach is scientific, some of the members are intuitive and combined to provide a unique perspective while investigating. Without further ado, let's welcome Arizona Paranormal Investigation Research Society to the show. That's a mouthful.
There we go. Right? Good evening, everybody.
I should have just said AZPIRS, right?
Yeah, just go for AZPIRS.
AZPIRS.
Sounds like a disease, but okay.
Asperger's. Oh my. Alright, we're starting video tonight, and Rodger's got to pop in a little later. So before that him for one. Like I said, Mel can't make it tonight. She had to pick up a shift for work. So, we'll be alright.
Yeah, we will.
Alright, well, I want you to introduce yourself, and I know you've been there over 40 years. What experience or just you got for interest in it that got you started?
Sure. Well, first off, when I was 6 years old, I saw my grandfather recently pass. I didn't understand it. I went and grabbed my mother. She shushed me off, and you didn't see anything at your imagination, and it fueled my curiosity. I needed to know why. Nobody can give me an answer. Nobody wanted to give you an answer. That's
Right.
part of the other problem with that time period. We're talking about in the 60s. If you talked about this, you went to the padded room. So as I got older, I started new research, and you start finding similar-minded people, and next thing you know, you have somebody that you have something in common with, and we took it to the next level. 1978 was my actual first case that I ever did. It was the same situation. A woman from work understood what we did, and she asked, "Hey, look, my son sees these things. I think it's his imagination, but I heard you have a story similar. Could you talk with him?" And that's kind of how it started. It's more not so much tracking and trying to make like a connection, but dealing with the child, dealing with the people that are afflicted, let them understand that they're not crazy. There's someone that has experienced something similar, and that we can talk about it and understand it together. So that's how that part actually got started.
Right, and that was the one of the things when we started our group back then is made it feel that you might not be crazy.
No.
And some of the things you're experiencing in the house, most of the time there are things that you can, debunk.
Sure, easy.
Yeah, easy debunk. But so the other times we get them when cases involving children are affected, or you see it firsthand while investigating or when going over, they get back to you and say, "Well, you're not crazy. What do you want to do next to help you, get through this?" Whether it involves something we all do, if it's something that's the bad spirit, we will call in somebody to take care of that. We don't usually handle anything like that. But I'm not sure how you feel about with having a priest or preacher come in and bless this place.
It depends on the individuals, on the client, what the religious backgrounds are. Some we've dealt with people that are completely religious, and then completely on the other. Where yes, a blessing may have been helpful, but being that they do not believe in God, they do not have faith, you can't impose your will or your beliefs on them. So you do have to be neutral with everybody that you're dealing with. For some people, that might be very difficult to do. It's one of the key factors about being a paranormal investigator. You cannot judge. You cannot impose your will on people. That's important.
Right. Now, we always have a questionnaire we give them to, and some of the questions were kind of personal, but they didn't have to answer them if they want to. which sometimes helped us before you went in. A lot of times you go have a pre-interview and sit down with them.
Hmm.
You're telling how close they are to the investigation. Now they're an hour away or 2 hours away, then we just do it all at once. Make a day of it and do it.
Yeah, we use an
Uh,
intake form, and today we spend more of the time on the phone, on more consultating than actually going out to locations.
yeah,
Most
a
of it can
lot
be
easier that way. Yeah,
with the the rise of the paranormal. With television, people are more aware of it. People are assuming that they're actually having these types of issues when really it's not. Jason Hawes says something great, which we kind of tell new investigators. You can't go into a location expecting paranormal or wanting to have paranormal, because then everything that you're going to come across, you're going to assume is paranormal. You have to be objective. And the client needs to be also. They just can't say, well, this is like, so and so TV on episode 2. That's not the way it is. We find a lot of people want to be entertained by us, and with the cost of gas and expenses, plus the
right.
time of reviewing so much of that evidence, we just can't roll. Back in the day, used to be more serious. People were concerned about what possibly was going on. There wasn't something on television that they can compare to. They might have knew somebody else that had a similar situation. But today, it's just very, very widespread. So, as an investigator, you do have to protect yourself and your interests.
Yeah, definitely. And like I said, over the years, people were more understanding that there can possibly be something there.
Right,
And like you said, not crazy.
right.
So, and then with like I said, the internet, where you got like me, you talking. I mean, it's awesome to be able to talk to these people and get a feel for them before you even go.
Hmm.
That gives you time to sit down with your team and say, listen, how are we going to approach this case? We're going to do it this way or that way. I'm taking on the person's feelings towards it's different for everybody.
Yeah, every case is different. It's totally individual case. It's just over the years, you get a kind of a blueprint of how you actually go forth and
Mm-hmm.
deal with situations. And you get to know when certain things are red flags that you're really not dealing with a paranormal issue. Today with medications, I mean, there's so many people. One of the places we go to, when we go to somebody's homes, believe it or not, is their medicine cabinet. We have the intake form. We ask about medications. We will go into the cabinet. We'll take a look. If we see something there that we're not familiar with, we will Google it just to find out what they
Yep.
may or may not could be on. And that is important. We're a detective in part. We're psychiatrists in another part, and that's the difficult part. A lot of people, you can easily ramp up their fears just by telling them, "Oh yeah, there's definitely something here. We got an EVP here. We got something off of the spirit box," but it just may have been background noise,
Right.
and you can put someone into a major frenzy and cause such problems in the family by I'm going to say diagnosing a situation. So you have to be careful when you're investigating, especially these days.
Yeah. That was one of those questions are, is there any illegal drug in the home? Was one of the ones that we asked. We don't, we put in there, I can contact, we had a contract. We don't contact authorities in these situations. Now, if we go to a house where you see that there's abuse going on, like, I never, we never had that. But I heard of cases like already from other groups, I don't got name names, that had that issue. And that they felt obligated to do that just for safety of the family.
Yeah, well, luckily we didn't see anything with child abuse, but there was a couple situations that we had where there was definitely some type of spousal abuse, and it wasn't physical. It was just the one individual, the way they were dealing with their spouse, you can tell that they were dominating, they were possessive.
Yeah,
So as you're talking and dealing with people, you pick up on things like that, and that's when you really need to be very, very cautious in what you do. And to contact authorities sometimes it might not be the best thing to do because you could
yeah,
open up an entire can of worms. And today,
uh,
when you look at the amount of violence that's out there, people on a snap will flip and they'll come after you. So, if you
Right.
would contact authorities and it was not founded, that
Right.
individual can actually hunt you down, find you, and close you and your family situation.
Right.
So
Right.
it's
That's
very
yeah.
difficult out there today. Very
Yeah.
difficult.
Luckily, I have much of that, with that situation. But another thing with the negativity in the home, I always thought that I could start activity also. Like I can bring on, any kind of activity in the house. I always thought that could be a possibility too.
Yeah.
So, but like I said, for the most part, our clients they're nice and trusted. They give sometimes give us pizza and drinks and stuff over there, and most of the time for our clients, now we don't. Right now, my group is actually new. I start another group, but when I first started, I was back in Pennsylvania. I guess mine just started like 98, but um, my kid was just born, so like first 5 6 years, just stay at home with him. I was going to school at night, and once I got a chance to get into the paranormal, I found a group um, up in northern PA that I joined, and I was with them. I had a well friend of mine then that I knew since childhood, and then we broke off into another group called Gasp, and we were with them. I'm still the
Still
team
here.
page is still up, but they went to a kind of different team that we collaborate with back and forth. But I have a new team here I started 4 years ago. So here in Ohio.
Well,
Um,
team being here in Arizona since 2008, it took about 12 years to really put together a
uh,
group that can interact well. The chemistry has to be there. You can't have issues. You can't have attitudes going into locations because it just defeats the reason that you're there. So it took a while. Over the years, I was with one guy. We ended up doing Phelps Dodge down in Ajo. We set up 12 cameras. At the end of the night, he was kind of anal is the only way to put it. We had to actually wipe down the cables as we coiled them with baby wipes because he wanted his cables clean. About 2 3 weeks, I reached out, contacted him, and said, "When are we going to review all that stuff from the hospital?" I just recorded over it.
what?
Yeah, so it was like, why did we go through all that? What was the purpose of it? Just the fact of doing ghost hunting, and that was one of the big things that I was coming out with down here. Everybody wants to have the episode. They want to go and do it, but there's no research. There's nothing behind it other than the fact of just doing. What do you want to do tonight? Well, let's go hunt or bowl. What do you want to do? Oh, we'll go ghost hunt. It's not a function. It's not a thing for me. It's not a thing to do. I prefer not to have my phone ring. I prefer not to get an intake form because then I know there's nobody that's having an issue out there. Do we go and do historic locations? Yes, that's one of the things that we did out here in 2017. A lot of the locations that we were familiar with, they're getting their funding cut and cut and cut. So we started AZ Ghost Tours as a fundraising arm to help these locations raise some funds. So we do public events throughout the year. Last year, we have 9 different locations we work with, made over $20,000. So that to me, that was great. That gives them, a chance to stay in business, keep the doors open. I have a 3-year-old granddaughter, and it's important for me to have her be able to see historic site. Now, I don't know if you've ever been to Arizona, but I'm sure you saw pictures of the Grand Canyon.
Oh yeah.
It does nothing compared to actually being there. That's my thought with these locations. You can see a picture of something or read about it, but unless you physically see it, touch it, it's totally different. So I want these locations to be here for her and possibly for her grandchildren.
Right. And I just hit the issue with the first group. With I'm not gonna name the group because they don't. Yeah, I don't need to do that. But the founder, I was with that group for 2 years, and it started pretty good. And it got to the point where um he one time got a brand new piece of equipment. He didn't know how to set up or anything. Well, we were setting up our equipment. He spent 2 hours trying to set it
Play
up
with
one
that.
piece. Another thing is that we always said well AZPIRS will have their evidence sent back to you within the most 3 weeks back to the client and come back to the client's house and review it with them and stuff. And there was times that he would show up late or he would have evidence done. And then the other guy I brought in that group, we just left and split their own group. I just got to do too much.
Hmm.
So
Yeah, I mean, you owe it to the client. That's what they're there for. They're not just there for you to go and do your thing. They're looking for some type of answers. And the evidence part, we use YouTube. Pretty much everything we have on YouTube is unlisted. It's only for our clients to see. We have confidentiality agreements with them. We don't do
mhm.
YouTube channels for that type of stuff. We don't post it on Facebook. Hey, guess what we're doing this weekend? People do that, and it's like wearing a badge of honor. I don't need to promote what I do.
uh, I see all the time.
And yeah, you do see it all the time. And it's the younger groups. They're trying to establish themselves in a sense, get a name, and I get that. But again, it's something that is very an intimate experience when you're dealing with the public like that. So, go to historic locations. There's a lot of them, like in our area, there's a great many to be able to go and investigate. A lot of them are open to have groups come in. So, if you're looking for a location, do more of that stuff than actually, investigating somebody's home because you could do more harm than good. But it took a while to get a good group of people out here, and we're balanced. We do have
Mhm.
other people that would bring on larger locations, but it's primarily just the four of us: Roger, Pam, Karen, and myself. And Karen and my wife Pam, they are both sensitive, so they give a little bit of an additional
Oh, yeah.
dynamics to it. And being that I know them and I understand them, I can meet a medium, or you can meet a medium, and they're only as good as the work. You don't know them, you never worked with them, so you have to take them for face value what they're saying that they are. With our situation, being that I know them and I work with them, when something is going on, I know that it's for real, that there is something actually happening. And when equipment is validating with their hearing, the historic information that we receive, the client interview information that was gathered from that, when that starts matching in what they are coming up with, you've got some type of concrete, some
Right.
validation to the evidence that you're collecting. So
See,
it's good to have a good group. You need to have it.
yeah. And we first started off, we were really busy in residential cases. And over the years, started tapering off a little bit, but we started doing other like locations, like historical places, and different haunted
Mhm.
schools and churches, that kind of stuff. Um, but we never went to go out to get famous with it. We just went to places we heard were active, or because we approached quite a few times in our emails and stuff with Discovery, what was to come on, the Haunted Files, the other ones. We read over the contract and stuff, and they said that when we use your footage, it becomes ours. And I said no. I said you can use it, but that's not your property.
Right.
But they wanted all rights to it, and then what happened is like I'm gonna say it anyways. But if the whole group's on there, I'm not gonna care. But yeah, but the first group I was with, we did a bar in Pennsylvania. I think it was called the Ship Inn. And back then we were using the VCR tapes, and so it's my job to go on and cut out and do the TV video of it and extract it to files and
Editing and all.
right. Me and my best friend who joined the group were in the bar and we were doing a EVP session now. Back then we did the flashlight thing. We kind of shied away from that because with temperature changes and stuff can actually affect it.
Yeah, there was a
So,
German scientist that actually did an experiment with it. My wife enjoys doing it because, again, being that she's a sensitive,
mm-hmm,
it's something that is matching what she is feeling. But there was a scientist in Germany, I think it was Germany, that actually did an entire 24-hour test on it.
mm-hmm,
The thing is, when you're doing a flashlight, if you're using the flashlight as a flashlight, The unit is now preheated. You need to start with a cold flashlight if you're going to attempt that at all, and you
Right.
need to monitor it with a laser thermometer to see
Right.
if there's any
Right.
temperature.
That I
Once
can
you
see.
get
I
it,
wasn't try that,
then you got to
but
toss it out the window.
yeah.
It's not going to be valid.
Well, we had a light in the bar, and we said, "Yeah, here, can you turn the light on?" And it popped on. Like, oh, that's cool, And so they end up getting it on one of the Pop the Ghost shows,
Hmm.
and then they actually went and used the other guy as the person in that bar.
Got it.
So it makes all it was all just
Oh,
all
entertainment.
enough.
It's all entertainment.
Yeah, I got Rodger coming on. About time. We're talking so much, and hey,
Hey, we made it.
Rodger, that was your turn to talk.
Oh, really?
Oh yeah, we're talking seriously. You're involved here.
Oh, okay. Sorry, I'm like,
Are you in your
uh,
car?
yes, I'm sitting in my car still.
He's coming to us via car.
Yes. Oh,
I'm glad you can make it.
Yeah, happy you make it too. Shame the yellow ones, but I told him next time I have you on, I'll make it for your 7 o'clock and not my 7 o'clock.
Even 5 o'clock our time.
Yeah, I'll
yeah.
sharp at that, guys. I don't
No
think about
problem.
that.
Yeah,
Hey,
4 o'clock.
daylight savings time.
Oh yeah, we should get rid of that.
Yay, farmers, go for it.
Yeah.
Oh, we might have to go back. The way things are getting
Oh,
priced out, maybe electric's going to be like $2,000 a kilowatt. So we might be using sunlight in the future. So you never know.
yeah, we talk about our investigations, like residential cases, and so while you're on, I want you to say about yourself and how you got interested in paranormal, and what are your skills that brought you on this team? And why
Uh,
did they bring you on this one, man?
well, I mean, so I I don't know where to start.
Beginning.
Got what?
The beginning.
Well, no kidding.
Okay.
Um,
Okay. Back in 1968, when I was born.
uh, been in Arizona for 20 something years. Never thought I'd actually be a paranormal investigator, and then I just got into it by watching TV, and I found Vinnie's group at one point. Went along with them. Uh, I asked if they were ever looking for anybody new, and was first told no. But I guess,
What?
well, it was an unsure time, I guess.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
But then Kendra, who's uh, I guess our liaison from back east now,
Yeah.
right, Vin?
Yeah. She's in Pennsylvania. Yeah.
Yeah. So she talked me up to Vinny. Vinny said, "Okay, have him help out at one of the events," and then I helped out, and I guess I passed.
Well, it's not about passing. It's just, again, talking about interaction chemistry. He has the right chemistry.
Mm-hmm.
He's not someone that believes that everything is paranormal. He's good with people. He's a bit of an empath. He has compassion for people. He has compassion for the industry. Those few things are the
Hmm.
biggest building blocks you need as a paranormal investigator.
Yes.
And he's great. He just he doesn't have a lot of experience, but he's willing to learn, and we love
Yeah.
having him on all our events. People enjoy him. Again, like I said, it's all about the mix of people. It makes a big difference.
Right.
Glad to have him. Glad to have you. Keep up the good
Yeah.
work.
Glad to be here.
Yeah,
Yeah.
we
It also is about responsibility comes there too. You got with that kind of stuff.
when I came out to Arizona, obviously I reached out to people, and at that point I had 30 years experience. Nobody wanted to give me the time of day. So, being that the internet was there and everybody had matching T-shirts, we're like, all right, well, let's just figure out a name and we'll throw something out there. So, we just make it our own, and that's how Easy Paranormal came out. We just started that thing. But again, there was really just my wife and I, and we hooked up with people through Meetup. And that's how we started meeting people in the area. got introduced to some of the locations that we have investigated, and it just blossomed from there. And that's the whole thing about power unity. A lot of people talk it, but a lot of people don't live it. Trying to share
Right. I
evidence is
feel
like
like it's the
doing
same way
teamwork.
about that
Locations. Oh, you can't go there. Why? We own that. You pay
Yeah,
taxes on that. So, we're changing that a little bit. I think it's getting a lot better. There's newer, younger teams out here now. This
Yep.
PowerCon is our second PowerCon we're running this year, so we got a lot of people involved, a lot of teams, which is great. And we've been working with a lot of different people. So it's been a good collaboration out here. I'm really, really happy with the way things are turning out. Hopefully, I got 65. I got a few more years left of doing it. So hopefully it just continues to grow like that. And Roger's going to, carry our torch and continue the work that we're doing.
awesome. That's what I have Mel for. She's on my team. So she'll carry a range. She's like 28 now, I think.
Hmm.
So I'm gonna be 55 in August. So I'm getting
Oh,
there.
Yeah, we're getting there, right?
Yeah, I'm getting there.
So, and the older you get, the more you want those answers as to
Oh
why.
yeah, yeah.
So,
You never know when.
yeah, I don't know, could be.
Could be dead tomorrow.
Actually, people that I investigated with back in the New York area, we came up with words. So if I was the pass and they were doing a session somewhere, my keyword is barracuda. So if they're doing an EVP session and they're for some reason they hear barracuda, they'll say that that's me trying to come through. So that's something that we kind of set. One of the guys that has died, Bobby J. He was a DJ. His was disco. But
You know what mine was?
excuse me,
Mine's pork chop.
pork chop is it?
pork chop.
Pork chop.
Well, Roger, you never know if this guy ever goes to pork chop. Now we know where that came from.
We start getting pork chop,
Hungry?
right?
Yeah, come here. Investigation at this.
So again, we started AZ Ghost Tours 2017 to help out. 2013, there was a lot more equipment coming out. Gary Golko, with all his inventions, he was continuing adding more and more. Now he's on fire. He's coming out this year with a lot of very interesting things. I'm looking forward to that. But it was like you couldn't find any place that would provide you decent pricing. Not so much the item, but the shipping. I'm paying $20 to get a K2 shipped to me. It was kind of insane. So I have a sales background, and I ended up starting Ghost Hunters Outlet. Most of the stuff that we carry, we ship for free. And anybody that subscribes to us, they get special discount coupons whenever we do our events. Some people want to buy their own equipment pre-hand. We do private events for some teams that are in the area that come from out of state. So we'll offer them special discount coupons. So we started that one, and last year we decided to put it all under one umbrella, which we started the Paranormal group. This way, instead of having 4 or 5 websites, we're slowly going to come down into one, because it's a lot of work running a website. There's really a lot of detail to it, especially now, the way new phones and just the technology is changing. You have to stay up with that, and trying to modify 4 or 5 different sites is totally insane.
Right, and when you're going from phone, like I'm in Wix, I do a site and then I do a separate setup for the phone itself into the layout. And
Interesting, yeah.
So that I do have my sites. But yeah, the parallel is a great idea for that.
Yeah. So besides our individual entities, what we're trying to do is make the Paranormal Group a type of directory. And there are directories out there, but you go out there and you pull up, say, teams in North Carolina, and you click on their website links, and it goes to nothing. They're gone.
No.
Okay, understandable. People do tend to be disenchanted with this business and move on, or they decide to just do Facebook only. But the people that are running those directories need to be proactive. The reason the directory is there is if somebody needs help and they want to search someone in their area, that's where they're looking. So make sure that the information that's there is active and right, so they can find someone to help them. That's what the directory is all about. So that was
Right.
one of the things that we want to accomplish. And that's a lot of work, but we will keep up when we get new teams that are going to be on that directory. They will be kept on. We will be checking links periodically to make sure that if there's someone in need and they go to our site and they're looking for somebody in Ohio, they're going to be able to find somebody in Ohio.
Yeah,
Because
yeah, I was thinking about that same freaking thing. Yeah, we got an email of the guy who's, I'm going to say it anyways, paranormalsocieties.com. You go on there and it's just polluted
at
with
least
stuff.
supposedly,
And a lot of them aren't even there anymore, and even it'll lag too sometimes to go on there. I thought I should find somebody or someone to help do this because to go through and waste your time trying to find somebody if you're in need of somebody. Okay, I got 30 numbers here in Ohio, and 25 aren't
are
anymore.
good links. Yep.
Right, broken links or not there anymore. Now, I feel like when I left Pennsylvania, I think I took mine off of that group because that group's not there anymore.
Right.
And I'll go in upstate, different places too, or take off, other. I mean, I'll update mine. But I just thought I'm not putting any more info on those sites. I mean, I have our name out there in certain platforms and stuff, and if somebody needs help, we're here. But it
Yeah,
is just ridiculous all the shit that's out there. I
it's a
mean, it's
lot.
crazy.
It's more work to get to. For me, it'll be more work to get people on board onto the directory than it is actually maintaining the directory. Because there are programs you can use to actually look for dead links on your site. So you just run it on that page or the pages that you do have the teams listed on, and you're going to find it. It's just you need to want to do that. There's no
Right.
gain to do that. There's great gain if you're getting all these people listed. Oh, look, there's 100 teams in New Jersey, but if 99 of them aren't available, it's like no point.
Right.
So again, it's staying up on, it, and that's one of the goals that we want to try to do. We do have on our AZ Ghost Tours site, we do have other tour companies in the area that do ghost hunts and ghost tours and paranormal investigations. Just because some of those also do some of the places that we do, and it keeps the lights on. So if we're not available on a specific week, and somebody says coming into Arizona because it's spring training right now, and somebody wants to do an event, we're only doing one Saturday a month at a location. They might not be there that Saturday, but there's someone else in the area that is. So we make sure that all the teams that do things here are on our site, so they can go find those places and they can go and enjoy an event there. And the place, that historic location, is getting some funds for that. So that's the other thing that we're trying to do here as well, is to collaborate with all the teams. With us, the Power Unity. That's what we're establishing. That's what we're doing.
Right. And out here in Ohio, there's a guy who does tours. His name is Bucky Cutright, and he wrote a book on haunted cemeteries. And it has a tour, historical tour, but it has another tour called Booze and Booze. So I take you
Nice.
down the mile half track, and you'll hit like 4 or 5 haunted establishments and all bars and stuff. He tells stories, and me and the wife were going there in May. So it's pretty fun. I actually got this book at a Krampus festival this past year. And it's awesome. They have all the haunted cemeteries, north, south, east, and west, or north, west, south, west. And what I did is I made an app for your phone that you go in and you pick location, and it'll give you Google Maps, and you hit the location
Pretty
and
hard.
you
That's
map
pretty,
it.
that's pretty cool.
Yeah, so that's cool. I'll do that. It was all fun, man. So,
Cool.
Yeah.
but yeah, I know you guys do something. Sure. I like those just because the way they look and stuff. So first I get this on this year. I'll take a picture of them and stuff. Yeah.
Oh,
I'll
you-
take a record goes along. People don't know if they believe or not. We just take one along. So
How long you been doing your podcast?
About 2.5 years.
That's all right.
Yeah, but actually, this episode is episode 60.
60. Look at that
Yeah,
anniversary. Yeah.
yay! Woo woo!
Well, we
Nice.
appreciate you having us on and letting
Yeah,
us.
I had a postpone last week. I felt pretty bad. I wouldn't feel well. Um, but she's come on that month, so I got her in. So I got back to her day on that, so she's looking at it. But go back to TV shows, ghost like shows. Are there ones that you think are, I mean, well, Ghost Hunter started off as that was the main thing I watched, and I liked Ghost Hunters. But some other ones I'm not real. Shall I whisper it?
I think we all know.
Yeah.
I think we do though. He wins.
Back in the day, when those something first hit sci-fi, my wife mentioned that there's this new show coming out, and she recorded it, and we watched it, and I was giggling. I said, "This isn't going to last," and she's like, "Why? It's great.
It's boring.
It's good. It's boring." People want Hollywood. People want to see, 2x4s flying or birds flying across the room, and
Flashing lights.
flashing lights, things going off.
Or do you hear that?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Smell that? Did you see that? Did you feel that? So, unfortunately, that's what the public wants. It is entertainment, but I do
Right.
thank the shows because it did give awareness to our industry.
Yes.
And our industry, look at all the Paragon. Hey, we're running our second Paragon. I wouldn't have even thought of doing something like this 10
Right.
years ago, but here we are. Thanks to these people that went and they were on television and got
Yeah.
the public interested.
Especially the very first ones too, who are more serious about it. And like I said, like when we approached with it, one of the things we said that if we ever decided to do a paranormal show on TV, which we never, at that time we were kind of iffy on, yeah, I'll do an episode, but we're not guaranteed anything's gonna happen. We'll go with here's the episode here, if you're gonna do it or not. But they don't do that. So let's put this background music, kind of shit, and it's like, So, I mean, I'm all for the entertainment value and stuff, and I know, the broadcasting companies got to make their money.
They do.
And so I understand that point, but like I said, there's some shows that I watch that. Like did you guys ever hear Ghost Finders?
Ghost Finder.
What is
Yeah, Ghost Finders.
Is that the English guy, Rob?
Yeah, Rob.
Actually, the guy I was doing some business with, he had a store also called Pi, Paranormal Investigation Equipment. In our store, he was doing, I guess, his YouTube series or whatever it was, and he asked if we would donate some equipment for exposure, which we did. Didn't do as much, but yeah, I do remember Rod. He was actually just here in Arizona, or he's going to be here in Arizona.
Yeah.
He's doing a Paracon somewhere. Yeah,
Well,
but I know of the show. I mean, it's again,
I had-
everybody.
Yeah, I had done one podcast last year. They're all fun. I'll link those guys. They're nice.
Yeah, there's so much out there. Hulu, one of the groups out here, he just got not Hulu. Was it Hulu? No, Roku. He just put together a paranormal channel on Roku.
Mm-hmm.
I suppose you're able to make your own channel now. So that's going to be a venture. I guess it's sort of like a hybrid. I don't know, YouTube slash. I really don't know what the heck it is. I got to look into it. But
I have Roku.
but you're able to actually make a channel now.
I don't know that part.
And that's like a YouTube channel.
Yeah, we probably can now. I got an email today about a group who, Paranormal News TV something is now on, what was it talking about?
Roku.
Roku. And I tried to find it today, I couldn't find it. But there's tons of free paranormal shows on Roku. So,
Yeah, but that's the thing, a lot of these small, not small, I mean, we're small too, not that we're big in any way, shape, or form, but it's just all these outlets that people are now able to take, their evidence and a location and bring it out there. We're working with
Right.
the Global Ghost Hunt that's coming in May, first 2 weeks in May, and I think it's the second or third week in October. They're running different locations. There's like 3 or 4 locations here in Arizona that are going to be broadcast on that. So that's another thing that somebody's putting together. Putting a lot of work into just to share the locations, to share other teams, to collaborate, show our evidence. Hey, I was there also. This validates what I've captured. I validated what you
Right.
captured. And
That is awesome idea. Yes.
when you have something going on
Yeah.
like that, it's great. So there's more and more of these avenues that are available for us. And it seems this Roku thing is something that maybe a lot of us should take a look into.
All right. Another thing I would like to try to get like a long shot. I'd look at my podcast on there because I have like a teams on. Right now, when I first started all, I was doing paranormal celebrities and authors, and I got more also, but I've been concentrating more on paranormal teams now and
Hmm.
their experiences and their locations they get to and stuff that they get and things they use and that kind of stuff. And I just think I forget her name, but it's American Paranormal Magazine.
Yeah,
What's her name?
Kim. Kim is my
Kim.
contact.
Yes,
Yeah.
Kim. Kim is my contact. She got me everybody's name.
Hmm.
So I booked out to being a June now with Paranormal themes.
Good.
So yeah, and I love the interviews, guys. That kind of
Well,
stuff.
you think of teams like our teams, like so many of them out there in the nation, we go to places, we've been to locations that nobody's ever heard of. It's not
Right,
on the Haunted America list or any of these places. And these are places that we do have that we invite others to come and enjoy and other teams when they visit Arizona. So these places are getting exposure that are not mainstream. And if it wasn't for the internet and for these types of podcasts like you're doing, nobody would ever hear of these places. It's the Waverleys and the same old stuff that everybody knows because it's just out there
yeah,
so big because of mainstream television. So
right,
that your work and things that a lot of these people are doing, like the Roku channels and et cetera, that's great to promote these locations and show people, hey, this is what we're not TV stars, but damn, we're good at what we do, and here's some of our evidence that we've captured, and it's great. It's a great revenue
right.
for people.
So of locations, what are some of the ones they got the most evidence from, and do you use certain kind of equipment to get the evidence, or? And also, want to know, what do you feel about Ouija boards?
They got a bad rap. I mean, a Ouija
Yeah,
board, you walking into some place and just trying to start a session with the exact same thing. This Ouija board, you got a lot of people focused into one area, so
right.
yeah, that intense that could be. But I'm going to let Roger take the question about locations.
Okay,
Well,
you're up,
what was the
Roger.
location about the locations?
What are the better locations that we have out here that you've investigated?
Um, I mean, between the jail, the old Gila County Jail in Globe, Arizona, and I mean it's a toss up. The YMCA in Miami. I think
Arizona.
we get the most. What?
Just letting people know Miami, Arizona, not Ohio, not
Oh
Florida.
yeah, yeah, Miami, Arizona. Just like Hollywood, not like Hollywood, Florida. But anyways, um, Miami, Arizona. There's a YMCA out there. It's built in 1917. Um, I think the jail is tops for sure.
Yeah, I mean the jail was on a Ghost Adventures episode a few years back, but other than being in this area, nobody really knew about it. The YMCA, nobody knows about. Our team and a couple other teams do utilize that location, but it's a gem. It's a absolute gem. We do a bordello actually up in Globe. Nobody does. We're the only ones that go, and she doesn't want anybody else in there. But we're the only ones that go in there, and that is another place. Again, they're all under the radar. But being that we're at the Gila jail so often, and I've been doing that place since 2010, if I want to go and try something out, try a new method or try a new piece of equipment, that's where I go because I have built a rapport there and there's a mutual respect. And I'll get it. activity whenever I walk in there, where somebody else will go in there and nothing happens. It's just they know me, they trust me, they understand. It sounds like I'm absolutely crazy. If I said talk like this 30 years ago, I'd be locked
Oh,
up. Sure.
let's say right here we first started
But
off.
it's an
Um,
absolutely active place. It's totally incredible. One of the most incredible places I have ever invested in. So anybody coming out to Arizona, Gilead County Jail, Florida.
they, we were there in Jersey. I think it might be Mount Holly in Jersey. I think that Burlington County Prison.
Mhm.
We did that. We did that twice. We got some of the best evidence at that place.
Yeah.
Um, we were back when we were in Pennsylvania. We did. I lived like half hour from Gettysburg. I lived there. So we did bed and breakfast, and we had some of the guests. We showed them our tools and stuff, the gadgets. They loved doing that. We split up in the barn, there on property, and a group inside the house, the inn. And two of the girls there, the mother and daughter, they're from New Jersey. And they like that extreme ghost hunting and stuff. And they invited us to the prison to come up. And there's in the prison there is one room that has a big boat. I guess that's carved out. They had an old boat, and they said we're in the room with the big boat, and they said no shit. Got the
We get that sometimes too when they're snarky as heck.
yeah, oh my god, and that prison, the Fat Mouse too. So, but cause I can't remember what famous person was there, but these two out back they had the electric chair out back, so they took it away and. But I got my picture sitting in it. But yeah, that place had probably bats. They were swooping all around and
That was down at the in Ajo, the Phelps Dodge Hospital. Fortunately, that was something that a friend of ours, Tony Rathman, and his team, they were actually doing events in there. The owner decided to sell it. Somebody bought it. He was going to make, I think, condos out of it. That's all on hold. So hopefully that comes back. That was another phenomenal under the radar place that nobody knew about. That has been on featured on a couple of paranormal TV shows, but that was another great place. Hopefully that does come back. It's a little out of the ways. It's almost you're almost in Mexico at that point, but it was another great place. Another place to do Acadia Ranch Sanatorium, which is in Oracle. That's just been on one of the shows, and that is another very active place. We're actually going to be there this weekend. So there are some really great places out here. I think a lot of the shows, I don't know, they seem to be coming out this way, out west. I don't know what's going on out east, if it's cost or whatever the case may be, but it seems Arizona and the Southwest seems to be getting a pretty big presence on television as of late.
that's good. Like with that prison with bats and stuff, and there was a long hall corridor going down to a locked door you can get into the other building. Excuse me. And the bat was in there flying around, so there's steps to go up and then down. I'm still on the steps, and he's on the doors and I snapped a picture. I got a picture of this bat.
Right in your face.
You see when he's zooming, he's got the eyes. Like, what
Nice.
are you doing, you crazy ass? That's good to see.
And what is-
Because he got like, I got already drink come right out of the hall where I took a picture. I knocked him over the top of my head, and my friend Ms. Long, he was getting bounced off the back in the basement for them running into the back.
Wow.
Yeah, and yeah, every time I went there, the bats were there. So
Jeez.
yeah,
Again, we use the jail a lot for equipment. A lot of people ask me what's my favorite piece of equipment. It's whatever the location that you're at, whatever they're comfortable using, whatever they can figure out. I mean, yeah, you might get REM pod activity, you might have EM spikes, maybe spirit box is working or an ovalus or doing different techniques. But whatever happens to be working, and that's why we cart all this stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe an ultrasound sensor is going to work, and maybe it's not going to work. But you give them whatever opportunity, and a lot of times it's going to be just something physical. Maybe you're going to get pushed, you're going to get shoved, you're going to get touched.
Mm-hmm.
That's the only way that they can communicate.
Okay, Larry.
It's audible. All the equipment that you bought, that $2,000 worth of junk you're carting around, none of it's going to work.
Right.
It's there to possibly give them the opportunity that maybe they have the knowledge, the learning over the past, seeing people coming in, bring it in, them playing with it to be able to utilize. So that's the whole key. Is there anything, the best piece of equipment other than the investigator's interpretation of his equipment? It's whatever happens to be the most thing that's going to get the activity, trigger
Right.
objects, etc.
That's why we do the same thing, lay stuff out, and I got this new music box sensor that my friend Bill made that was in our group. It's pretty cool. It like it picks up like 15 feet away each way around this. That was pretty good.
It's a paranormal buffet. You lay it all out, whatever you want to eat.
Yeah, that's right. That's right. Where I cut around on a walker like that. So, what are your thoughts on orbs?
Next question.
Yeah. I knew that was coming.
Oh, yes, that person. What is this stuff? Maybe it could be a spirit orb, but they're very rare and few between. I never came across, and I came across one a long time ago, or actually a couple weeks ago. That was actually on the podcast where one lady had was kind of weird, and that was Patty Negri was on, was pretty interesting. But no, with the same way with orbs, like you just whatever. Because a lot of people say, "Oh my gosh, you go into their house, and they're like, look at all the ghosts and stuff, and it's like clean your house and stuff, it's just stuff."
Get it back.
And they're like, well, that's not true. I tell everybody this. Listen,
Orbs.
go over to go to a soap.
To capture a real orb on a camera, especially a CCTV camera or IR camera. That
Right.
illumination is not going to work.
Right.
You see them physically with your eyes.
Yeah, I have a light like that before already. I've seen one at a church one time. I seen
Oh, wow.
one. But with the whole orb thing, I said, well, you know what? To test your theories, all the orbs in your house, I said, that's how it is. Go over to a sofa,
Yeah, bang on it.
pat on it, and the bitch
Mic
like,
it down.
oh my god.
Well,
Yeah.
the thing about paranormal investigating is you need evidence to support evidence, but you also need to find reasons. You're there to find explanations. That's the true idea of paranormal investigating is to take a claim, whatever it is, or whatever somebody is coming across, and find other alternatives to it. And once you can't find anything, you're left with something that's inconclusive. It's
Right.
very rare they can actually, like the jail, I can say that place is definitely haunted up in Liverpool. That's definitely a haunted location. But most places, you cannot, you just can't say it's haunted. You can't validate it. It's very, very difficult to say that. It's just, there's 3,300 satellites, how many, police cruisers and ambulance and everything that is communicating, cell phones. Oh, there's just so much contamination out there, electrical wires.
Yeah.
You don't know what you're getting.
Yeah.
Evidence is support evidence.
We usually put our cell phones in the car with the tracks for you in this place.
Usually mine's off in my kit, usually.
Yeah.
I do
Yeah.
allow, and we do use them from time to time. We can talk about apps too. That's another sore subject, or
Yeah.
some of them are fine. You got to use them with a grain of salt, just like anything else, because the K2 is going off. Could simply mean you're doing Facebook Live, and that's what's causing it. So just like anything, you need to know what is making that go. So are some apps good if it's talking about the beach and you're in desert in Arizona? You're mostly getting BS. But if it's something that is actually relevant to your situation, your questions, what's going on, the activity, the location, the story aspect, then there may be some validation to that. So people that do use apps out there, please go ahead and use them. It's a very inexpensive way to investigate with apps. You know, you have a lot of different things that are out there, but remember, evidence supports evidence. Take what you gather and use your brain and figure out, is this actually something that is realistically going on, and don't want it to be. Don't go
Right.
into with that intent that, yeah, we're going to a place that's haunted, so everything that happens is going to be something paranormal. Most likely it's
Right.
not. It's a rarity to have actual real paranormal activity.
Right. So another question I have is, what do you think about cryptids?
You know, yeah, I believe in aliens. I believe a lot of things.
Yeah,
Yes, I do. I believe,
I
you know,
do too.
everything.
So a lot of people say, yeah, you're nuts and stuff.
Uh, I
You know,
mean,
whatever you know, I'm researching stuff. Never see one, or you know, I see life in the sky already
oh, you talk
before.
about that. Come out here. You know, driving home 2 o'clock in the morning. Some of
Yeah.
the stuff that you
Yeah.
see, military bases and all that are out
Oh
here.
yeah.
Yeah, you never know what's going on. But
Yeah, I got rights parish now here. So
so, you know, paranormal activity, is it multi dimensions? You know, different universes. Is it actually alien? Is this
yeah,
people from the future that are actually that we're catching when they're
right.
fading, when they're doing whatever? There's so many possibilities. There's so many things, and that is what paranormal is. Unable to explain what any type of natural means or phenomena. You know, it's just that's what we do. And there are different genres of paranormal. You know, cryptoids, aliens. It's all under the same thing. We happen to be more on the spiritual aspect of the
Right.
paranormal. That's what we're all doing.
Now,
Yeah, I
um,
believe in quite a lot of things.
we took a trip to New York to Hinsdale House, and that's back a few miles back road at Dark Hill, a forest around there, and just a tiny little house. And we had recorders placed on the outside because they wanted to take a smoke break and heard this like, weird sounding howl, like nothing we ever heard of. Wasn't a wolf howl, wasn't it sounded like a real loud scream mixing with a howl. Really weird. I'm like, oh god, you know what could it be? So we had put a recorder out on the porch for the night, and we went over the evidence. I think Bill found it when he was doing that, and we picked up some weird noises and stuff that went on for like 3 minutes total. So let's say we all do is we can't claim it's what, you know, and I sent it to different places that checked the stuff, and they never really get back to me about it, and they say it sounds kind of canine, but not, and what's weird about it is it sounds like something messing with the quarter, and you hear like grunt, you know, and it's like the guy who owns the place has a camera outside who said there were no deer around or anything, so, and he's saying anything
Hmm.
else. So it was the weirdest thing.
Weird.
But that place was God. If you ever get a chance to go there, I mean, it does cost money, but we got like 8 people to go. It helped out with the price on it, but we got the
Well,
whole weekend for it, and it was excellent. We got to sleep in some bedrooms that were, you know,
well, here, you know,
but
in
Cool.
Arizona, the indigenous people, the Native Americans that are here, the Apaches, Navajos, we work with quite a few teams. Some of them that are Apache, and their beliefs are absolutely incredible. And if you take a look at some of it, some of the things that happen and what they believe in, it is definitely something that is realistic. So, you know, there's a lot to learn about different cultures and different religions, different types of societies. And that is another thing as an investigator is to constantly learn and constantly expand your knowledge and use people. You know, I'm very fortunate that we are in an area that is newer history as far as Anglo-Saxons, but the history here goes back thousands and thousands of
mm-hmm.
years. So there's a lot of unexplained natural occurrences here that you have skinwalker. You have no idea what's going on here.
All right,
So it's very, very interesting for sure. But you know, another thing, if anybody's in the area, April 22nd this year, we're going to be doing our Paracon up in Globe. We're running 6 different locations for ghost hunts during the day. We have paranormal teams, authors, all different people up here. This guy, we have a group of people that are doing some interesting methods, direct radio voice. If anybody's familiar with that, Marcelo uh, Bacci, he, I think it was the 70s, Rogers, he came up with using a tube radio to actually hear and speak with
Oh
spirits.
wow.
To the point they did an experiment, they were pulling tubes and things out of the back of the radio, and they were still working. So there's a couple people out here that are working on that. Roger's been being tutored by Tony Rathman in that
Yeah, all
respect.
right.
We have a couple other things that we're kind of working on, and it's these new methods and new ways to explore the paranormal. That's what it's all about. And the thing is sharing that knowledge and letting it be available for other people. So if anybody's coming out in Arizona, hey, it's spring training out here. Come on out, enjoy the weather. It's a little rainy today here, but usually we're in the 80s now.
Yeah.
It's going to be beautiful. Come and enjoy our valley here. Do a little golf and enjoy our Paracon up in Globe,
Yeah.
Arizona.
Yeah, it's good now. I'll try anything once, twice, or three times. I've had more than once. Before we go here, if you, more time here if you want. What about the vacations you want to get to that you didn't get to yet, like a bucket list?
I don't really have one. I know a lot
Okay.
of people, our bucket list is like, the Waverly's in Pittsburgh Hospital. I
Mm-hmm.
really don't uh, want to go to those types of locations. I do want to stay close. We are looking for a couple road trips going into New Mexico. We were there a couple years ago. We had a good time. Going to Anna jail and courthouse, we investigated there. I want to get back to that type of location. I do want to go to more Paracons that are, in the
Mm,
Southwest to meet teams from other locations. And again, finding places that we don't know about that are not on any haunted register or any haunted website, but places like the YMCA that we know of,
mm,
these people do. So going to meet other teams and finding those places that we haven't heard of, that's where I want to go next.
yeah. Uh, Back a little here when we were talking about going to evidence. What software do you guys use? I use Audacity and get
I just use
they're
Audacity. Yeah, I don't do much
Yeah.
with it. I hardly clean things up. I
right.
may I may amp volume, but it's just
Yeah,
being
I
able to watch
mean,
the waveform besides listening to it.
right.
That's
I
it.
mean, there's Audacity you can take a if you adjust it right, you adjust a little noise out of it. I don't think of it too much,
I like
but
to be able to slow it down to listen to things
yeah,
that way. Sometimes just elongating it slightly just will help you figure out what it's actually saying.
right.
And my ears are older. I'm sure yours are different than Rogers.
Yeah,
Everybody hears things differently. So that's another thing when you do capture something. The best thing is to share, let somebody else get their take on it, see what they're hearing. If you remember, you were talking about Ghost Hunters, the TV show. They used to let the actual client listen two or three times and then
right.
tell them what they think they heard.
That's the right way to do it.
Now
So
they seem to be kind of getting away with that, where they're just saying, "Okay, this we think it's saying blah blah blah." What do you think?
right,
And they let
right.
it hear it, and you're like, "Oh yeah, I don't know if it's saving time, whatever." But
They're listening for that.
yeah, it's just like, hey, you're watching a cloud. Look, there's a dog up there. See the tail, see the ears. You don't want to give anybody information. Same thing we investigate. Our investigator Karen, who's is sensitive, she doesn't want to know much. She'll do
Right.
an intake form, but she will not. She does not want to get into the actual location, spots, actually where things are picked
Right.
up activity.
Yeah.
She wants to be able to pick up on it, which again, validating the claims through her and through what we may have as far as equipment reactions. That's the important thing.
What
But
that?
software, I use Movavi for video wise. It's
Mm-hmm.
just simple. I don't really need
Uh,
much. I don't do effects. We don't put sound and
right.
stuff in our stuff. It's all raw, basically, what we end up
Yeah.
having. We put a couple polished things on the locations that we do, public investigations, etc. But that's it.
Right.
Uh, Raw footage to the clients just
I
goes.
use involve. I like Involve. I use that
I
too.
mean,
Yeah.
it's a little frustrating from time to time trying to do
Yeah.
certain
Yeah.
things, but
Yeah.
it's a tool. It
Yeah.
works out good for us for
Yeah.
sure. Portals, different things like that. We sell them. We build them for people. SOS cameras, I'm not a big fan of, even
Right.
though we
Yeah.
sell it. Why do we sell it? Simply because if somebody wants it, they're going to buy it somewhere else. The small profits that we make from our store
Right.
offset our costs. We do on an average 2 to 3 hours from where we live to the locations we go to. And that $4 or $5 a gallon, which is kind of expensive out here. I'm not sure what Ohio is, but right now we're hitting, we're going to be up to mid fours in a few weeks. But something has to offset that, and the store does help. So yes, I'm gonna put stuff on that store that people want to buy. That doesn't mean I necessarily use it. And there are things that I will promote that we do use, like for instance, ultrasound. I believe ultrasound compared to passive infrared is the way to go. I do not feel a spirit entity is going to be able to be seen or captured via PIR. I just don't see it happening.
Right. And
Where
I'm
ultrasound
thinking
will.
I think people waste money on the FLIR cameras too.
Yeah, I mean, I've caught a couple things on FLIR. It's more of the reaction. Like we have
Yeah.
someone that got their arm grabbed. We do have something
Right.
that way, but rarely do you ever really catch anything substantial. And a lot of times that FLIR shot is so grainy
Yeah.
that and you're starting to just is that really a figure there? Is that a cowboy standing next to you?
Mm.
Again, your mind is going that intent, that going in,
Yeah.
that haunted location. You're thinking haunted, and we're all guilty of it.
Yeah.
That's why we're there to try to capture something. So we have to not have that predetermination that will spoil us. But yeah, FLIRs, we have it, we use it. It's there more of
Mm,
a to capture a reaction and after
right.
than actually something live capture. But
Right.
yeah, PIR, I rather go with ultrasound. We use
Right.
light panels, which are very interesting. They shoot up IR. Anything that reflects the IR back down is an IR receiver. We can
Hmm.
use those for yes and no sequences. We sell a lot of those. They work out very, very well.
Wow.
IR cameras, a lot more people are getting away from IR. They're going into
Yeah.
UV, going into regular white light. So
Yeah.
time of day, people are like, yeah, you always investigate at night. No, I actually personally rather investigate like 12 in the afternoon. Sure, you're going to get some contamination as far as audio wise, but you know, 24/7 is paranormal. When it wants to happen, it's going to happen. And when you deal with clients and you talk to them, what was the activity? It was 2 in the afternoon, or I just gone home from work. It was 5:30. So paranormal is all the time. So
Right.
IR lights and cameras and all. If they're not a good camera, it's going to be grainy and it's going to be
Right.
difficult. It's more for documentation than anything else.
Right. I got a little IR box that you could it says white, it says green, yellow, red, it has all the colors. So if it's you can adjust it the way you want and they have up and
Right.
down.
Now, that is a built-in battery, correct? Rechargeable.
It's chargeable, yeah.
Personally, I stay away from any equipment like that, and this is my personal opinion. I do 100% believe that spirits can pull energy from batteries. They cannot pull energy from a battery just sitting in my hand. It physically
Right.
needs to be in contact to be actually drawing the current through it for them to use. With a rechargeable battery, a built-in battery, if that gets zapped, you better have a backup because that
Right.
you're going to wait 2 hours to use it.
Yeah, I roll about
So
that.
that's my thought. Most of the equipment that we use, if possible, is being able to replace the battery as needed. That's that's
Yeah,
just
that's
my
most of the
idea.
stuff was. But
We
yeah.
sell a line of lights called P-Tech, Paranormal Tech. Great lights. They're out of California. Very inexpensive. They're kick-ass. They're just some really, really good lights. So pop on ghosthuntersoutlet.com. Folks, I want to take a look at that
Okay.
P-Tech line, and you'll be
I'll
surprised.
yeah,
Very
put
good,
that here for you.
affordable lights, for sure.
So ghost.com. I'll put it in the comments then. So
Yeah, please. And for those that are interested, if you do want to make a purchase, you can use a discount code SPIRIT for 10% off. Many items, K2s, REM pods, millimeters, SB7's, a new one that just came out in January, the revision 6. We have those in stock. They all ship for free. That's the way I can say it. We are under contract to sell items at specific prices. We will give you that on a discount, and we will ship it for free. That's how we can help save you money.
Oh, that's awesome.
We can't say, hey, you can buy a K2 for $50.
Right.
Can't do that. We can't advertise that type of price because we're contracted. But
Right.
come on, use a discount code. You'll save there. But no matter what, a lot of items are free shipping. So
There's a Ghost Hunter outlet or Ghost Hunters outlet.
GhostHuntersOutlet.com.
All right.
And again, profits help us with our fundraisers. That supports what we do. So supporting us supports the 9 historic locations that we're currently working with.
That's awesome. That's awesome, guys. Yay. Yay.
Yeah.
Woohoo.
The props. Appreciate it.
Hey, I gotta remember Rodger's. Woo-hoo. Rodger. Woo-woo. Oh, you guys are blessed. I'll tell you. I told you guys earlier.
We appreciate you bringing us on. Thank you very much.
Yeah.
Yes, thank you.
I'll try to schedule maybe early fall again, and I'll get you
Try to get
on.
everybody together.
I'll get everybody on. And well, special time I had mine 9 o'clock for me, and then that'll be 7 for you, or 6 for you guys. 6 okay?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. All right.
Yeah. I mean, if we could do it.
Sorry again about that.
Yeah.
Because
November.
No worries.
Be fine.
November, I guess, yeah, no problem.
We appreciate the opportunity to be there. I want to thank all your viewers for spending the time with us. Hope you got something positive or something good out of this. Maybe one thing I said, maybe something that might put you in a different direction or give you food for thought. I hope I was able to do that, and that's what it's all about: sharing things I learned, sharing methods.
Share is caring.
Etc. Very good. Just keep it going. And again, Scott, thank you very much.
Oh, you bet. Anytime, guys. So, but we're going to wrap it up. And
All right.
tonight we have Vinnie and Rodger from AZPIRS.
Yeah.
Thank you guys again. And
actually, that's how you can find us: AZPIRS.com, AZPIRS.com.
there you go. Until next time, happy haunting, everybody.
Thanks, everybody. Have a good night. Be safe. Be careful.
Take it easy.